Well, I was technically correct about my predictions for PGL Astana's Grand Finals today. It still played out in a way that I don't think anyone expected. First off, congratulations to Astralis for showing one of the best single tournament turnarounds I have ever seen since I've been covering games on this channel. I hope it's not a flash in the pan and that Hooxi can reign for 1,000 years in Denmark. Because despite losing to Spirit 3-1 in this finals today, everyone who watched the game live knows that Astralis were much closer to pushing this to a 5th map and potentially winning than it might seem on the scoreboard. This was an incredible effort, only beaten out by true heroics on Spirit's end at the 11th hour on train. Also Aurora and Furia played in the 3rd place decider. That also happened. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Thank you guys for joining me on this journey through PGL Astana. If you guys enjoy these same day recaps, you can show me by leaving a like and leaving a comment down below and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I want to hit 10K by the end of the year, and it also helps out immensely in the YouTube algorithm. Lastly, I want to plug something different. You should go follow me over on my Twitter. It's always linked in the description, and I'm usually live tweeting during any of the big games going on, and I'm known to occasionally fire off some bangers. So if you want to follow me there, keep up to date with updates on videos as they happen, or just talk shit to me, that's a good place to do it. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and thank today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey, a CS2 trading website. You put in the skins that you want to trade, you select what you want, you use my code LionHeartZ for up to $5 off, or click the top link in the description, and boom, new drip.
Nice.
You can also use my code for a 35% deposit bonus if you want to buy with real money. And they have a free section with cool giveaways. So check the top link in the description, use my code to buy 15 Dragon Lords to let them know I sent you their way, and thank you to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring this video. Alright, so I'm going to be upfront here. I had planned on doing a little bit more time diving into this 3rd place game between Aurora and Furia, but I'm just going to be honest. The Grand Finals became very exciting out of nowhere when it looked like Spirit were going to sweep it. I want to give more time to the game that, in my opinion, actually matters. The 3rd place deciders are great, they're important for VRS points, and they're sure as fuck better than show matches. I'm not going to deny that, but at the end of the day, they don't really matter, quote unquote, in terms of like the narrative for the tournament. So I find them hard to be as excited about, especially because they are going to have to be on the same day as the grand final. So while Aurora beating Furia is cool, I also have to add the caveat that this game had less stakes than Aurora losing yesterday. So does it feel that good if you're Aurora? At least to me, no. To go over it quickly, Aurora beat Furia in 3 games. Furia stole a win on Anubis 13-10, where in the 11th hour when the game was tied up, Molodoy came up huge with an amazing 4K hold on the B side, and then to clinch the victory, Old Man Fallen, he still got it, on the rotate post-plant retake, wrapping around through T-spawn mid, coming around to B main, manages to win the 1v1 clutch against Major. Unfortunately, this would kind of be the end of heroics for Furia, as on the subsequent Inferno and Dust 2 games, they would get shut out 13-6 on both maps. Pretty much everybody came back down to earth in terms of the 3-star players, whereas Aurora maintained steady output on both maps, buoyed by a nice carry performance by Wicadia, who ends the series going 54-38 with a 1.21 rating. Overall, again, Furia, you're walking away happy. You made top 4 on an event after never sniffing the playoffs for like the last 2 years. Sure, KS Rado was dog shit in this game, but again, the 3rd place deciders, you can't convince me that players care about this match as much as an actual playoff game. It's just a conciliatory game, and that's fine. Just for me, it's hard to give much attention to it. So now that that's done, let's turn our attention to the grand finals between Spirit and Astralis, because this was awesome. But not right away. When the series kicked off on Dust 2, this looked like it was going to be a very one-note series, because Astralis got ran out of the server by Spirit plain and simple. It was a 13-5 smashing on Dust 2, where after like an initial back and forth, you had Stalin with a really cool 4K with the 5-7 on the 2nd round of the pistol loss. That was pretty much the only highlight, as Astralis would get shut out for literally the rest of the half, going down 11-1. They won the pistol round on their T side, but, you know, listen, it's not enough to make a comeback happen. This would begin Device's struggles throughout the series, where it was very clear that Shiro had the advantage in the op-v-op matchup, Donk was taking whatever map control he wanted, Chopper and Zontix were also putting up great numbers individually. Pretty much Astralis got ran over, plain and simple. Now we're moving into Nuke, and as we talked about in yesterday's recap, Nuke had a lot of potential intrigue, especially in the matchup between Stalin and Donk, as both these players have been playing insanely well on that map for the last 3 months. Astralis came out of the gate firing very strongly, taking the pissed round, converting the first 4 rounds after, taking decisive control out of Spirit's hands as they fumbled with their economy, refusing to concede, take the save, and get 2 full guns. However, once we got there, Spirit's CT side showed really strongly why it can be so dominant, with Shiro's mobility with the op going around heaven, ramp, outside, supporting Donk, making sure the upper pushes didn't go off, Donk doing his usual flexibility around yard with the rifle. There was a lot of good stuff to be had here from Spirit's defense, but at the same time, Astralis weren't plainly getting blanked like had happened earlier. Their T-sides were getting in, they were getting penetration, things were getting interesting, they just weren't able to close out as many of the rounds as they would have wanted. And the few rounds they did after the initial spurt came off the back of heroics, like Stare on round 7 when he picks up a dropped M4 of Zontix's body on the B bomb site and proceeds to flip it into a quad kill defense while the bomb is down. But Astralis couldn't flip this into more momentum as Spirit would win back on the very next round, force them into a save. Then I just have to put this up here, it's a good Donk highlight. Donk's spray control is just prodigious. His ability to control his AK spray at this range, yes, it's on saving players, but can you guys do this? I can't. I've been playing the game for a fucking long time and I can't do that. Kid's unreal. More on that in just a minute. Basically, we're going to go back and forth through the rest of the first half. Astralis having some strong rounds, Spirit battling back like on round 11 when Shiro had a great 1v2 clutch. All of this would culminate in the second half with Astralis going on a strong run of form, winning 4 out of 5 rounds to tie the game up 10-10. Unfortunately, this is where Spirit would show just how clutch they can be in truly absurd fashion. Let's take it one round at a time. Now, right out the gate, in a close game in a grand finals, if you're Spirit and you start off the round and you go to ramp and Donk immediately dies, that is not ideal. Because, Donk, you may not be aware of this, is pretty good at the video game. However, Chopper does get one right back on Yabby in the top side, which does allow the remaining Spirit players to get downstairs and try and make something work. Luckily, with the state of the economy, Astralis are not going to be super willing to go into an intense post-plant situation unless they have a huge advantage. Most of the players are still on the upper bomb side or outside and waiting to see what Hooxi might be able to find on his own, and all Hooxi finds is, well, not a bullet to the head because it's Zontix, but several bullets to the body. Now with the 4v3 and the bomb down, Astralis are just going to opt for the save and just play for next round. So Spirit navigated the Donko situation well, but the deck was kind of stacked in their favor as they only needed something to go right once to force a save. So Spirit grab an 11th round and the lead. Things are about to get really interesting. In the following round, it looks like initially Astralis are going to retie the game. This A crunch from Spirit is going to fail as Donk pushes out, gets a great double entry, but Yabby by the vents pushes up to Squeaky, gets a first pick, turns around, and hit a perfect double spray on Donk and Zontix, stranding Chomper in a 1v3. Chomper is going to take out Yabby afterwards, bringing us down to a 1v2, and this is where we're going to pause. Now, live, this was very hard to hear, but Chomper at no point considers his flanks or moving from his position. He's always going to end up going through Squeaky because he gets an audio cue. There's a very, very small mistake that allowed Chomper to be pretty confident that both players were on site, or at least one was down on site and one was on heaven. If we cut to Stare's perspective, he's going to attempt to molly out Squeaky, but miss. The molly will land on top of Tetris, where Device is nearby. The molly spreads down, and Device gives up a sound cue that can be heard from Chopper's perspective in Squeaky, notifying Chopper that a molly was thrown, could have been thrown from heaven or back of sight, but regardless, the molly was thrown in such a way that it tagged a second teammate also on the A bomb site. So Chopper was given incidentally the intel that both players were there. Now, for all my criticisms of Chopper as an IGL, I do have to point out, he has moments where individually he can be fantastic, and he takes both these gunfights perfectly to claw back a round that Spirit had no business winning. It just goes to show how oftentimes on broadcast you can miss these little details that could be so important to the outcome, because if Chomper isn't given the sound cue, think about it from his perspective. He has to worry about a ramp flank, someone going around through outside into lobby, maybe coming up the vent. He doesn't have enough information to be so sure of himself to push straight out into the site like he did. It's funny how just one missed Molotov opened the door like that for him to capitalize. And as we go into the next round, Spirit are now on match point. Once again, Astralis do a fantastic job of shutting down this upper push, Spirit keep wanting to hit A to wipe them out of the server, and it's not working. They get wiped out immediately, stranding Donk and Shiro in a 2v4, but Device is also pushing up to counter them in Trophy Room. He takes care of Shiro. Donk hits the first headshot. 1v3, less than 20 seconds left on the clock. Donk has to get downstairs. He has to get the bomb down, but he's being cut off at the pass by Yabby and Hooxi, and what's he going to do? Only best player in the world shit. An excellent double kill spray down, all headshots. Just enough time to fake the bomb once, get the bomb down. Stair is shaking in his seat as he pushes through ramp. Donk, he takes a peek right, clears right, takes a peek left. 4 kills, 4 headshots. How the fuck are you not entertained? A 1v3 clutch by the team captain for match point, and a 1v4 clutch of the fucking year so far by Donk to seal the deal and put Spirit up 2-0, heading into possibly their bigger comfort map than Dust 2 on Mirage. It should be over at this point. Astralis have tried, they've thrown punches, but Spirit look unshakable, and the best player on the planet just sent a statement that he will do what he wants and you can do nothing but kneel. Which is why it is incredibly impressive that Astralis walked out with all of this on their shoulders and calmly handed Spirit their ass in hand on Mirage. A 13-5 beatdown, thoroughly neutralizing Spirit's T-side, which is one of the scariest Mirage T-sides in the world. It's not like they put a limit on Donk. Let's not go that far. Donk still had 16 kills and 10 deaths on the first half. He was still by far the best player. However, everyone else on Spirit got put in a box and shipped back out to sea. I mean, look at this fucking scoreboard. Donk with a 2.02 fucking rating, and the next highest player has a 0.89. Shiro's best map is arguably Mirage. He goes 6 and 10 on the opening half, not much better on the CT side. Zontix, he's been great this whole tournament, not good here. Chopper, great clutch on Nuke, totally useless on Mirage. As soon as Donk died, and he did die, there was no teeth left behind him to finish up these rounds. No Shiro clutches, no Magic's magic, just ruthless, efficient CT side dominance from Astralis, and then they kept the momentum up in the second half. In total, they would win 10 straight rounds after losing the early game to Spirit. Insane. Insane in the context of what they've just dealt with. They got their ass handed to them on Dust 2. They lost Nuke in the most tragic way possible, and somehow Hooxi kept the ship steering in such a way that he could lead this team to victory. And I do mean lead. Hooxi tied Stair and Stown for the most kills on Astralis. Hooxi went 17-10 against Donk. And I love that there is apparently this rivalry, this beef between Donk and Stown and Yabby. Like, they were trash talking each other in the chat. And I know people tend to hate on Donk's like bravado, his trash talking, his like demeanor and stuff, but I like it, man. I like that we have players that are willing to shit talk each other. Yeah, when Spirit win and Donk kind of tries to no sell, like him being happy about it, that can be a little bit off-putting. But again, he's 18 years old, man. He's a little socially awkward. I'm gonna give him a pass on that. But the trash talking in the server, I'm here for it. I like that he fucking hates playing against Stabby and he wants to beat him. It makes for exciting storylines, and especially when Astralis carry that momentum into train. And Donk struggles in back-to-back CT side trains, just like against Furia. Keep in mind that we're coming off the back of that 10-round streak to end Mirage, and after Spirit win the pistol round and the second round defense, Astralis go on another streak, winning 8 of 9 rounds before Spirit can barely close out the half and stem the bleeding at an 8-4 lead. And everything's going right. The momentum. Stown is playing incredible. Yabby right behind him, playing with pace and momentum. Device is hitting shots. The only person remotely getting anything done in this opening half for Spirit is Shiro. And Shiro is out on a fucking limb trying to get them through these rounds and win these clutches, but they aren't going their way. The second half of this game gives me very similar vibes to that Dust 2 game against NIP at the start of these playoffs, where it felt like Nip could do nothing wrong and that the game was a foregone conclusion at halftime. But once again, Spirit grit their teeth and show why they are still definitively one of the best teams in the world. Over the course of many intense rounds, they hand Astralis back an 8-4 T-side half of their own. Donk is still struggling, but because it's Donk, he's still going to find the moments of impact. But Shiro is really the person who needs to be credited. Shiro, despite all the issues that his team is facing in this match, goes 25-16 for the entire game with a 1.48 rating. And then Zontix goes 21-17. On the T side specifically, including overtime, Zontix has 15 kills and 10 deaths. And he is most often one of those players lumped in with Magix as letting this team down. But he was instrumental in keeping them in some of these rounds. I want to focus specifically on the ending sequence of this game, the end of regulation into overtime, because this was just unreal entertaining how this game ended, because it felt like at no point it was clear what team was going to win. It's round 23, the game is tied 11-11. Donk has been in fits because he's been limited to just single kills and sometimes nothing at all most of the second half. Astralis have done a very, very good job of making everybody else on Spirit have to win these rounds and not Donk, but when you're a player of his caliber, you can only go so long without him exerting his will on the game. And this feels like a statement round for how he feels about this grand finals. That no matter what, if he can, he will tear this trophy out of Astralis' hands himself. What's he do? Walks over to B, looks down lower, executes Hooxi, take him out. Slow things down, wait a little bit, go out upper, take care of Yabby. As the bomb site gets taken by Spirit, we eventually land ourselves in a 2v2 post-plan situation. Donk has walked up to Z, and he's ready to throw down. Just perfectly holding such a strong position with the Z smoke, he calmly takes Karis down, great shot through the edge of the smoke, and then this flick on the stair is just nasty. He's just that good. A dominant 4K to force match point, tournament point, and Astralis' money is broke. Game's over, right? It's over. The game is going to end here. Spirit, there's no possible way you're going to be able to concede this next round, especially when you open it up and within seconds, Shiro gets a pick, Donk gets a pick, Zontix gets a pick. Pause. 2v5. If you just take some bets right now, guys. Do you think Astralis are going to find a way to win this round? Well, Yabby thinks he does. Kills Donk with the MP9, picks up the AK. 10-15 seconds later, he's going to take care of Magix for his second kill. And then importantly, with deep A main smoked, he's going to creep up into that close corner and wait. Now guys, I mean, I'm no expert here. By no means am I a pro player. But listen, maybe it's just the built-in paranoia that is deep set within my psyche. But I just check every corner. That's just me here. So if we pause right here, do you guys think that Shiro's going to check this corner? Because I would check this corner. I was screaming at my screen as Shiro was walking up. Check the corner, check the corner, check the corner, check the corner. And he doesn't fucking check the corner. A nearly game-losing mistake from Shiro, who's been so good this entire tournament. It's crazy. But that's what pressure does. That's what a little bit of lack of communication does. That's why Counter-Strike is so beautiful, because a play that is so obvious to every single person who's watching at home gets totally missed in the moment by one of the very best players in the world. And Yabby single-handedly claws back a 2v5 tournament elimination round to force fucking overtime. First round of OT, Astralis blank Spirit's attempt at a B hit, just straight up devicing Yabby. They disassemble it, no picks go Spirit's way, and that's immediately 2 rounds in a row that feels so crippling if you're a Team Spirit fan, but somehow they managed to hold on. And of course, they hold on off the back of Donk, because once again, Spirit opt to go for this early B aggression, and Device takes care of it right away, and then Stare and Stound seem to twist the knife with the flank from Long Dog, putting Spirit immediately into a 2v4 before Donk takes care of Stound, whittling it down to a 2v3, but Donk is lit. On his way back to rotate the Magix to go A, he picks up an op. Donk, the opper, shines in this brilliant moment where Magix and Donk work their way into A, get the bomb down. Magic takes a pick over by Yellow Train before going down, and then Donk in a 1v2 with the op. It's 2 beautiful, perfect shots to give Spirit a miracle round. And this was the moment. Spirit locked it in after this point. Just like they were doing earlier in this match on Dust 2, the next 3 straight rounds, Spirit walk into space that Astralis owns and takes care of them like it's light work. Picks going their way every single time. Zontix with triple kills. Donk with triple kills. All the way to victory. Astralis looked helpless after this Donk clutch, because he's the main character in this tournament story. That's what he is. From down 10-5, Spirit bring it back, nearly lose it at the very end, and then win the final map in overtime 16-13 to win the tournament. Another MVP for Donk, and Spirit's first trophy live since Blast Rivals all the way back in January. I'm exhausted, so I'll keep it short. For Astralis, yeah, you guys pushed Spirit way more than anyone else expected. This realistically could have been a 5-map series. It honestly should have been. And had we got to Ancient, considering how shaky that can be for Spirit, there is a real world in which Astralis could have lifted the trophy here. But listen, failing at the finals is by no means a failure for a roster that has struggled so much throughout this year. This is a damn good achievement. It's a stunning indictment on them signing Katie in the first place. And good God, if this organization still exists in 2 months and you don't give Hooxi the bag, this is the most incompetent esports organization this side of G2. Good job, Astralis. For once, I'm happy about what you guys did in the tournament. For Spirit, it's a win. It should have been way cleaner than you guys made it, but at the end of the day, your players, especially Donk, Shiro, and Zontix, are good enough to help you win just about any fucking match you're in. Hopefully, we can get to a point where Spirit plays their strengths more and makes these wins a little bit easier, and maybe gets a little more competitive when facing Vitality or Falcons. Anyways, that's going to be it for me, guys. Make sure you show me some love for these recaps by leaving a like, leaving a comment down below, and subscribing if you haven't already. I want to hit 10K by the end of the year. Thank you to Skins Monkey for sponsoring this video. Check the link in the description. Go trade on their website. You get a free $5 with my link on any trade you make, up to $100 in value. Thank you to Skins Monkey for sponsoring this video. Thank you to my channel members, Justin, Jesse, Furia, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cody, Patatas Kaftesi, BTR, B1 Games, Cody Foxworthy, Justin Vandervate, I'm Flashbang, Snowy White, Rowdy, Vergil'sPlasticChair, and Sip Pro 12. If you want to come on channel member, you can do so. Link in the description down below for $5 months to keep naming the video just like this, as well as a custom role in the community Discord. Follow me on Twitch at TV/LionHeartZ. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Peace.